The night the secret debt of blood was born still echoes through the forgotten corridors of an empire whose rulers built their power atop a pact so violent, so morally fractured, that even the most dedicated chroniclers trembled at the thought of recording it. Under the pale shimmer of a moon sinking behind the palace towers, a council gathered around a dying king, whose final command would stain his lineage for generations. In that chamber, truth became weapon, loyalty became currency, and survival demanded an unspeakable sacrifice. The prince who witnessed it carried the weight of that moment like a shadow stitched to his soul, knowing that the debt extracted that night would demand repayment, not through justice or tradition, but through blood bound by lineage. As he sealed away the dying king's final words, he also sealed his own fate, for the pact reached far beyond the throne and into the marrow of every heir who would follow. The empire that rose from this secret believed it had secured eternal strength, yet every victory it claimed carried whispers of the forbidden act that had forged its future. Advisors who sensed the truth vanished beneath mysterious circumstances. Documents containing fragile hints were burned under royal decree, leaving behind nothing but ash and fear. Murmurs grew among servants who noticed unusual marks on the heir's marks, said to be the curse inherited from that night. Though scholars attempted to trace the royal bloodlines, sudden shift in behavior. Each inquiry collapsed under the weight of threats, cloaked as diplomatic warnings. And as we plunge deeper into this forbidden legacy, remember to subscribe so you never lose your place in uncovering the secrets. Emperors would kill to protect. As decades passed, paranoia became the empire's true ruler. Kings and queens obsessed over the blood debt, terrified that an exposed truth could unmake the throne more completely than any invading army. Those born into the line were sheltered, not out of love, but out of dread. Their lives monitored, their alliances manipulated, their confidants chosen by hands trained in deception. The existence of the debt created generations trapped between privilege and doom, raised with the knowledge that their very birth was collateral for a crime buried beneath time. And yet, beneath the palace foundations, hidden beneath stone and secrecy, carved symbols revealed fragments of a truth no monarch could fully erase. These symbols, scratched by those who dared to witness the pact, spoke of a violent betrayal that became the empire's cornerstone. Two houses, once allies under the guise of shared ambition, became bound by a ritual demanding the lifeblood of an innocent, taken not for vengeance, but for power. The pact required that, once each generation, the throne would pay its debt with the blood of one marked heir, Batober. Time rulers grew greedy, refusing to honor the cycle and instead shifting the burden onto hidden victims whose names never reached the scrolls. Thus, the debt grew restless, birthing calamities that historians falsely attributed to war, plague, and divine wrath. The turning point came when a forbidden die written by the last living witness of the original pact was discovered behind a collapsed section of the royal archive. Its pages, brittle yet still legible, described in haunting detail the night the pact was sealed. It spoke of a child taken from the rival house, offered as the blood price, ensuring the empire's rise. The king responsible swore that secrecy would protect the realm, yet every drop spilled that night poisoned generations to come. The diary revealed names, dates, motives, and the true meaning behind the markings carried by the heirs. They were not symbols of divine right, but of inherited guilt. When modern scholars attempted to publish the diary's contents, they were forced into silence by institutions loyal to the still powerful descendants of the royal bloodline. One historian disappeared the night before his findings were to be revealed, leaving behind a single note: "The debt is not paid." Others received threats so precise and personal that they abandoned their research altogether. Yet, rumors persisted, spreading through underground academic circles and sparking the curiosity of those willing to risk everything to unearth the truth. And if you are one of those who refuses to let history be rewritten by fear, subscribe now and stand with those who seek what others hide. The truth reached its most volatile point when genetic analyses conducted in secret confirmed what the diary hinted at. The royal bloodline was not pure, but spliced with the lineage of the sacrificed house. This meant the ruling dynasty had concealed a heritage that, if revealed, would delegitimize centuries of authority. Worse still, the blood debt remained unfulfilled, meaning the curse bound to the pact lingered like a dormant fire waiting only for a spark. Panic spread among those descended from the line. with some fleeing the country, while others attempted to destroy any remaining evidence of their connection to the ancient crime. But the most shocking revelation came when a final piece of the diary was decoded, one describing a prophecy tied to the bloodline S-mark. It foretold the arrival of an heir who would either break the pact forever or awaken its wrath. This heir, according to recent findings, is alive today, unknowingly carrying the weight of centuries of deception. This individual walks through the modern world, unaware that their blood could collapse entire dynasties or free them from a curse woven before their birth. Governments, shadow archives, and secretive institutions now scramble to locate this descendant before the truth reaches the public eye. What remains unclear is whether breaking the debt would come through knowledge, sacrifice, or confrontation with those who still protect the legacy of the pact. Scholars argue that revealing the entire truth is the only path to ending the blood debt permanently. Yet such a revelation would shake the foundations of nations built atop fabricated royal myths. It would force the world to question the legitimacy of rulers, the morality of power, and the cost of an empire's rise. And so the secret remains suspended between revelation and destruction, waiting for the heir to unknowingly deliver judgment. This is the debt of blood no historian dared to write. The truth, buried under centuries of fear, ambition, and sacrifice. But secrets of this magnitude never stay buried forever. Evidence is emerging. Witnesses are resurfacing. And the world edges closer to learning the truth behind the empire's darkest foundation. And as we continue to chase the shadows of forgotten history, subscribe to the channel because the next revelation may not only reshape the past, but threaten the present in ways we are only beginning to understand.